In the complex world of the cartel, when one leader gets taken down, there is always soon to be another kingpin eager to take his position of power. In the wake of the shocking arrest of the legendary Ismael El Mayo Zambada last year, it became clear that it would only be a matter of time before someone would take his place. Now, a new player has entered the game, and he is perhaps even more dangerous, ruthless, and powerful than El Mayo ever was. He also has the same formidable reputation because he inherited it from his father. This new leader is Ismael El Mayo Flaco, Zambada, El Mayo's son. In recent months, there has been infighting within the cartel, particularly between the group La Mayiza and the infamous Los Chapitos. The Chapitos are the wild and reckless heirs of the Sinaloa Cartel who have taken over power upon the capture of their father, the infamous El Chapo Guzmán. Now, with El Mayo no longer around to maintain order, division, and fractures within the cartel are becoming more and more of an issue. Will El Mayo Flaco Zambada be able to fill the giant shoes of his father, or will he be humiliated by La Mayiza and disrespected by his own cartel? Let's keep watching to find out. Backstabbing is a huge part of the cartel lifestyle, and often it comes from the people closest to you, who you trust the most. El Mayo is now behind bars because he was betrayed by someone he had known for years. On July 25, 2024, El Mayo was lured into boarding a plane under the pretense of inspecting real estate in northern Mexico. Upon landing in El Paso, Texas, he was arrested by federal agents.
The leader of one of the world's biggest drug cartels has been arrested in Texas. Ismael Zambada, known as El Mayo, was earlier charged by US prosecutors with conspiracy to make and distribute fentanyl, the drug that has been blamed for the US opioid crisis.
In a letter released by his lawyer, he claims he was ambushed and kidnapped by Joaquin Guzman Lopez, son of Joaquin El Chapo Guzmán.
Two of the most powerful kingpins in Mexico's infamous Sinaloa drug cartel in U.S. custody today, tricked into boarding a plane that ended up bringing them to El Paso, Texas, and into the hands of the feds.
Zambada alleges that Guzman Lopez, accompanied by armed men in military attire, attacked him during a meeting near Culiacan, Sinaloa. He says that he was forcibly taken to an airstrip, hooded, and transported against his will to the United States. Guzman was also arrested alongside Zambada. In the wake of his arrest, those within the Sinaloa cartel and choosing sides, leadership battles have erupted, and internal conflict is reshaping the ever-changing dynamics of the cartel. Before we can get into how this has all been going down, it's important to look at the history of the Sinaloa cartel. El Chapo Guzmán was of course the longest and most well-known leader of the Sinaloa cartel. Under his leadership, the cartel thrived and reached the level of power that it is today. However, he was captured and apprehended by U.S. authorities 10 years ago.
Captured, breaking overnight, a ruthless drug lord, the top illegal drug supplier to the U.S., arrested in Mexico.
Upon his arrest and capture, El Mayo took over. Now, with neither of those two kingpins around, a power vacuum was created. This power vacuum led to the emergence of two primary groups, La Mayiza and Los Chapitos. The Chapitos are led by El Chapo's sons, Ivan Archivaldo Guzman Salazar, Jesus Alfredo Guzman Salazar, and Ovidio Guzman Lopez. This faction seeks to uphold their father's legacy and maintain control over the cartel's operations. Aligned with El Mayo's lineage, La Mayiza aims to preserve the long-standing influence of El Mayo Zambada within the cartel. While both of these factions still existed before El Mayo's capture, there was a delicate balance between them, out of respect for El Mayo. Now, that balance is no longer at play. The fact that those who supported El Mayo now know that he claims to have been betrayed by one of the Chapitos adds even more tension to the mix. Following these events, violence erupted in Culiacan, the capital of Sinaloa, on September 9, 2024. Clashes between heavily armed members of Los Chapitos and La Mayiza resulted in numerous fatalities and widespread chaos. The conflict quickly spread to other municipalities and caused mass destruction and many deaths. The government simply can't keep up.
A heavily armed column of state police rumbles through the streets of Culiacan in western Mexico. They're providing extra security around the latest crime scene here. This type of weaponry and armor is the stuff you see in wars. In many ways, that's exactly what is happening here. A battle between two factions of the Sinaloa drug cartel, one of the most powerful gangs in Mexico.
Over 500 deaths have been reported since the onset of hostilities. Dozens of individuals have gone missing amid the turmoil. daily life has been severely impacted, with schools closing, businesses shuttering, and residents living in constant fear. In the following months, both factions have maneuvered to consolidate power. La Mayiza has reportedly retreated to Durango, leveraging alliances with local groups like the Cabrera-Sarabia brothers for protection. Los Chapitos have allegedly formed strategic partnerships to bolster their position against La Mayiza. The Mexican government has responded by deploying additional military forces to the region. Despite these efforts, the violence persists. This just goes to show just how many challenges authorities face in curbing cartel-related conflicts. Bodies are showing up on the streets, and everyone is in fear for their lives.
On a dirt road lie the bodies of two men. They were found at daybreak. Why they were killed isn't known, but people are being murdered across Culiacan every day as this gang war intensifies.
The ongoing tension has left a permanent mark on the people of Sinaloa. Citizens navigate daily life amid constant violence, armed confrontations, and pretty much no sense of security. Local economies suffer as commerce is disrupted and tourism declines. Communities are fractured, with trust eroding among neighbors and authorities. The tension reached a boiling point recently in the wake of the shocking kidnapping and murder of Miguel El Jasper Vivanco, a 29-year-old Mexican YouTuber and TikTok personality. Vivanco was found dead on November 23, 2024 in Culiacan, Mexico, 2 days after being reported missing. His body was discovered on a dirt road, with his eyes taped shut and hands bound, bearing approximately 70 gunshot wounds, a clear indication of severe before his death. Vivanco was known for his humor and lifestyle content, amassing a significant following on social media platforms. He frequently collaborated with fellow influencer Marcos Eduardo Castro Cardenas, known as Marquitos Toys, who is alleged to have connections with the Los Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa Cartel. Authorities suspect that Vivanco's murder is linked back to the Los Chapitos faction. In September 2024, he was added to a list of sanctioned individuals within an illicit drugs program maintained by the Office of Control of Foreign Assets, OFAC, suggesting potential involvement in drug-related activities. Vivanco's family reported that he was abducted from his home in Sinaloa on November 21, 2024 by a group of armed men. Following his disappearance, his family and friends expressed profound grief and paid emotional tributes on social media. His brother wrote, "Brother, I will love you all my life with all my heart. You took a part of me with you. I know we will see each other again." As the Sinaloa Cartel has become plagued by infighting, social media influencers and YouTubers have increasingly become targets, especially those alleged to have ties with rival factions. For example, in late October 2024, a Culiacan TikToker known as El Chilango was killed while recording a video, and in December 2024, another YouTuber, Leobardo Ispuro, known as El Gordo Perucci, was murdered along with his wife in Sinaloa. The murders of these influencers show the extremely powerful reach of drug cartels into the facets of Mexican society, including the digital realm. While some influencers may glorify or inadvertently promote cartel culture, others become entangled due to alleged associations or simply by living in areas under cartel influence. The exact motivations behind Vivanco's murder remain under investigation, but his death serves as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by public figures in regions plagued by organized crime. In the aftermath of these events, there has been a growing call for greater protection for social media personalities and a more aggressive response from authorities to address the escalating violence. The influence of cartels on social media is a concerning trend, with criminal groups using these platforms to spread their message, recruit members, and intimidate rivals. As the digital landscape becomes increasingly intertwined with real-world conflicts, the safety of content creators in high-risk areas remains a pressing issue. Following the tragic murder of Vivanco, yet another famous online personality has been targeted, showing just how reckless the Sinaloa Cartel is becoming in the wake of this change in leadership. Agustin Paul, widely recognized by his online moniker El Pinky, was a prominent Mexican YouTuber known for his engaging content that resonated with a broad audience. Tragically, his life was cut short in a disturbing incident in late 2024. In late 2024, El Pinky was abducted by individuals believed to be affiliated with the cartel. Following his disappearance, a distressing video surfaced depicting El Pinky enduring severe torture at the hands of his captors. They recorded everything, even extremely brutal footage of them him. The footage, which later circulated widely on social media platforms, also showed him bound and visibly suffering. While it's not been confirmed who is responsible for his capture, the brutal nature of the attack had the trademark signs of the Chapitos. Later, El Pinky's lifeless body was discovered with his hands and feet bound, bearing clear signs of This incident is part of what has become a very disturbing pattern, with many wondering which influencer or social media personality might be next. This tragic event has sparked widespread outrage and concern, both within Mexico and internationally. The motive behind El Pinky's abduction and murder remains under investigation. However, it is widely speculated that his online presence and potential associations may have drawn the attention of cartel members. In regions like Culiacan, where cartel influence is pervasive, public figures can inadvertently become entangled in the violent dynamics of organized crime. All of these incidents add to the humiliation of Sinaloa's new leader, El Mayo Flaco. This internal conflict not only threatens the cartel's operational stability, but also damages Zambada's authority and reputation. For El Mayo Flaco, the infighting is particularly humiliating because it shows that his authority is being questioned. A unified cartel is essential for maintaining control over territories and operations. The internal strife suggests that Zambada's influence may be weakening as he struggles to maintain cohesion among the cartel's factions. The violence resulting from the infighting has drawn major public attention. Incidents like the recent destruction of the cenotaph of Edgar Guzmán Lopez in Culiacan show the truly brazen nature of the conflict. These events not only expose the cartel's internal weaknesses, but also undermine the image of control and invincibility that leaders like Zambada aim to project. The infighting has led to substantial losses, both in manpower and resources. In addition to the huge number of casualties, reports indicate that the conflict has resulted in financial losses exceeding $1 billion. These setbacks hinder the cartel's operations and diminish its capacity to exert influence, reflecting poorly on Zambada's leadership. But that's not all. The escalating violence has shattered the long-standing myth of the good narco in regions like Culiacan. Previously, some cartel leaders maintained a semblance of order and even garnered local support by portraying themselves as protectors of the community. The current turmoil undermines this narrative, further tarnishing Zambada's reputation. Meanwhile, what the public knows about Zambada and his plans for the future of the cartel remains pretty limited. But what we do know is that he is a game changer, and unlike anyone the cartel has ever seen before. Unlike Los Chapitos, who inherited their power and made a spectacle of it, El Mayo Flaco has been working behind the scenes for years. The Chapitos are known for their extreme brutality and recklessness.
La zona del fraccionamiento Villas del Río, en Culiacán, Sinaloa. Todo esto a manos de un grupo armado que atacó con fusiles automáticos. Asimismo, fuentes federales informaron que el presunto autor del ataque contra los elementos fue el Mochomito, ligado a los Chapitos, fracción en las que se divide el liderazgo del cártel de Sinaloa.
However, El Mayo Flaco's approach is patient, strategic, and terrifyingly precise. While Los Chapitos have been drawing attention with their violent tactics, El Mayo Flaco has been quietly mastering every aspect of the cartel's operations. One of the key differences between El Mayo Flaco and Los Chapitos is their approach to leadership. The Chapitos rule through fear, relying on brute force to maintain control. But El Mayo Flaco is more of a deal maker. He builds alliances instead of enemies, using diplomacy where others would use violence. It's a subtle approach, but in the long run, it's far more effective and dangerous. An example of this is the ongoing trade of the powerful and deadly drug. This synthetic opioid is 50 times stronger than and has been wreaking havoc across the United States. Under El Mayo Flaco's guidance, the Sinaloa Cartel has become one of the largest producers and distributors of in the world. But here's the unexpected thing. El Mayo Flaco reportedly instituted strict quality control measures for production. Why? Because he understands that dead customers are bad for business. By ensuring a more consistent product, he's not only increasing profits, but also, ironically, reducing the number of overdoses. This is a business strategy and has nothing to do with him having compassion. It shows a level of long-term thinking that sets him apart from the flashy, short-sighted tactics of Los Chapitos. But El Mayo Flaco isn't just a drug dealer. He's an incredibly tech-savvy innovator who has brought the cartel into the 21st century. While the Chapitos can't resist flaunting their power, El Mayo Flaco has been leveraging technology in ways that make him nearly impossible to track. This includes encrypted communications, blockchain technology for money transfers, and even using AI to predict law enforcement patterns. He's running the cartel in an extremely controlled and organized way, with departments for everything from drug trafficking to cybercrime, and even legitimate businesses used for money laundering. Even his take on corruption is unique. While bribing officials is nothing new in the cartel world, El Mayo Flaco takes it a step further. Instead of just paying off local cops or politicians, he builds long-term relationships, helping officials climb the ladder of power. The higher they go, the more useful they become to the cartel. There are even whispers that his influence reaches the highest levels of government, both in Mexico and abroad. If that's true, it would explain how he's managed to stay under the radar for so long. Now, as the fight for control wages on and countless lives are lost in the process, it is only a matter of time before tension within the Sinaloa Cartel reaches a boiling point. Which side will emerge triumphant? Those that align themselves with Los Chapitos, or those that align themselves with El Mayo? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.